Okie Show. Hello, welcome to the podcast that explores the heartland's entertainment industries. I'm Brian.
I'm Neil.
And we are here with three awesome special guests, so we're going to go ahead and introduce, and then we're going to get back to them in a hot second. So let's go down the line here. We have Gabby, but what's your last name?
Merchant.
Gabby Merchant?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm Topher Owen.
Topher Owen.
I'm LaRonn Marzett.
LaRonn Marzett. And today we're going to be talking about their awesome sketch comedy group, The Space. In just a second. But first I'm going to check in with Mr. Co-host here. You know, Kelly's still...
I know.
She's still, on baby leave.
It's a lady thing, man. Like, if I knew that you could take so much time off having babies, I'd have a couple myself, man.
You should get on that. You know,
I know,
it's 2018.
It's 2018. People are hip to that kind of stuff now. Like,
yeah,
babies.
I saw that movie Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just poop out a baby. It's
exactly.
fun.
It comes out and then you're free, man. You get to be off forever. So,
it feels like
I love you, Kelly, though.
We miss you, Kelly, and you guys know Kelly too, don't you?
Yeah. Kelly was a student of mine way back a long time ago. She was awesome, great. So I'm sure she's a valuable asset here at Okie Show.
Man.
She's so good, and she's busy building her own personal improv troupe with babies.
Yeah,
exactly. She's making her own comedy club with nothing but her children.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna be hysterical.
Oh, absolutely.
They're gonna be great.
If they have any of their mother in them, which I know they do, they're gonna be hysterical.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, she's
so that's what we're just biding our time for them to get old enough, and then we'll just take it on the road.
Yeah, exactly. That's that Okie Show trio.
Yeah. The Okie, yeah, there you go. So what have you been up? Have you been on any shoots or anything?
No, I haven't. I've heard of quite a few movies that are going on right now.
We got like 3, don't we?
Yeah, and which is great because they're hiring a lot of like film students from O-Trip and getting a lot of people who have never been on movie sets the opportunity to go out and learn the things that they're learning in college, which I think is so dope because like you can talk about like making movies and being a filmmaker all you want, but until you're like on set doing it, like you don't really know anything.
You're full of
You know what I mean? It's like for real. Like you can like, and it goes with anything. Like I mean, you could talk about doing comedy forever, and like, oh yeah, it's so easy. But then when you're on stage doing it, then when you're on stage doing it, you're like, wow, this is a whole lot different than I thought it was.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm still trying to, pull you on stage.
I know.
I haven't done anything.
I wrote some material. I got some Tinder jokes. I got some jokes. I got some jokes about my dad. It's good stuff. We just got to get out there and do it, man.
Yeah, just got to do it, man. Yeah, the only thing I've had been going on. Words I can speak now. I had this. I'm curious what y'all's thoughts might be on this. So I was on the. I've never done this before, but I just had a shoot that was like a hidden camera, candid camera kind of thing.
Are you in on it?
I just as the sound guy. So like, we had. As the sound guy, I get to have the little earpiece in our actor's ear, and so we're talking to him on a microphone. He can hear the voice of God talking to him in his ear. But then we have plant mics all over the place, masked just like flower pots and that kind of thing. And so the whole shtick, but here's the twist to this fun, loving story, is that the topic was just veganism. And what better place to talk about veganism than the heartland of America, Oklahoma, where beef is what's always for dinner. and they go to a burger joint, and so we wire up this whole burger joint with all these, so it's like 15 cameras working and all this kind of stuff. And of course, and this poor actor, almost every table that he had to talk to was like old and decrepit. And the whole shtick is like he's gonna basically guilt them about how, you're gonna have some beef now, enjoy your heart attack. And they're like, we already have 3 times.
Right.
And so the actor, it was one of those things of like he started off with like high hopes, and by the end of the day, his outlook on life had just degraded more and more, because he's like, I'm an awful person.
Yeah.
Because by no means is this a Sacha Baron Cohen kind of fellow. Like, he's just an actor, just doing a job. And they're talking into his ear of like, okay, now say this god-awful thing that will send you straight to hell.
Yeah.
And he's sweating. He's like, well, that's fun.
He's like, I can't do it anymore. It takes out the earpiece.
There's a couple times where he was like, okay, well, I'll be right back with your drinks. And then he'd shuffle in and be like, guys, Really?
I'm not going back out there.
Yeah.
You can't do this.
I'm pretty sure that guy has a gun.
Yeah. They were like, you should do a hard-on joke to this table with like a 5-year-old. And he was like, no. And I'm just sitting in the corner with my earphones on, just trying to do my job. Just trying to do it. Not here.
You'll get through.
Not here to judge you guys. I'm not a part of this, but I'm kind of a part of this.
From what you've described, I'm pretty sure they auditioned for that.
Did you?
I think so.
Well, see, that's the funny thing is at the end of the day, somebody that had totally auditioned for that part showed up at the table that was rigged.
Oh.
And so, like, our actor comes bounding out and he's like, hey, guys, what's up, bro? Like, they know each other.
Right.
And they're like, what's going on? Oh, is this the thing? Is this... Oh, okay, we'll play along. Oh, meat. Ooh, boo.
Suddenly, the candid aspect of it goes out the window.
Yeah.
Because the mark is in on the whole thing. Yeah, that would be horrible.
I tell you what,
that sounds horrible.
Oh, yeah.
His acting career is at an all-time high right there, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, what tougher acting job can you possibly have than, like, literally lie to people?
yeah. Lying to another actor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially when... Well, the funny thing was that the actor that had auditioned for it, like, I was walking out and he was walking in, and we know each other also, and I was like, oh, hey, man! And literally, pretty much any time that you see me out in the public, I'm on a job.
For shooting.
Sure.
So it's like a dead giveaway that, oh, well, we saw Brian, and then he went into this dark room. There's probably something going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a dead
that
giveaway.
sounds so miserable. It just sounds miserable.
Best 15-hour day of my life.
And the thing that you're talking about too, where the old folks are there with the I had 3 heart attacks.
Yeah.
Essentially, what the actor is being told to do is, hey, tell the people who had the heart attack it's their fault they had the heart attack.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't enjoy their life. Go ahead, do that.
Yeah.
Do that. That's gonna be fun and funny, huh? It's gonna be fun and funny, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what's really going to bring people onto your cause of vegan glory? Shame and guilt. That's what I was like the whole time. I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, eating a burger, literally. I'm like...
I mean, I get it. There are health risks and all that, but really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Here's the funny thing, though. Whenever you're somebody who's just like, you know that meat patty that you're eating? It's going to give you a heart attack.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, that was going on. Like, they're going outside to smoke cigarettes and then coming in and shaming people about veganism.
Does shame ever work as a teaching tool? It does?
It so does.
All right.
Does it?
Yes.
I'm wrong.
Shame's very effective. Talk to any Catholic person. It's very
All right.
It's very, so I can't
Have you
fault them
been
for their
on Twitter?
approach.
No. These guys have been on Twitter though.
You guys are Twitterers.
I'm the newbie to Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't see what I did?
Oh, last name
I don't
joke
know.
every time.
So, okay, I want to... Here on the show, we're masters of segue.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk a little bit about sketch comedy today. We're going to talk about the space and y'all's show that you have. But we have a game that we're going to play at the end of the song. We're going to start off, before we start talking about sketches and all that kind of stuff, this is basically a Mad Libs script. So everybody's got your own script here. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna fill this out, and then at the end of the show we're gonna actually read this and see what we come up with here.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see here. So we're looking for a food that comes in a can.
Spam.
Spam.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good choice.
I like that. I was gonna say raviolis.
Okay.
That's better.
Out of the can into the man. You know what I'm saying? Like.
That's a fact.
I don't. Yeah. What are you talking about?
How is that not a tagline for something that
Like,
exists already?
Eat up canned food. You just eat it right out of the can, man. It makes so much sense.
Pay no
it
attention
rhymes.
to him. Okay. So number 2, a thing. Actually, I'll write it here. What's a thing?
Lint.
Lint. Got it. Okay.
It's a thing.
A name that starts with C.
Corey.
Corey.
In the house or out of the house?
In the house or out of the house?
That's a Disney. That's a
Disney
Disney Channel thing.
In the
I'm pretty sure.
Let's see, an adjective.
A whatative?
Marvelous.
Marvelous. An adjective.
That's a descriptive word, Neil.
I went to
sad
high
thing is,
school in Newcastle, so
You and I have the same thought process of like adjective.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh man, I remember my English class from 10 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, jeez. A foreign sounding name.
Ranjit.
That's racist.
Ron.
Yeah.
I saw you like coil yourself up, like whatever name gets said,
Right.
this is my response to it.
Yeah.
I got this.
Come
was
on
it?
now.
Ranjit.
Ranjit.
Yeah. Oh, what show is he the cab driver in? I think it's How I Met Your
That's
Mother.
worse.
I was just watching How I Met Your Mother. No, that's a legit character name from.
Classic Ranjit. Okay, a famous person's name.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Okay.
That's a good one. That guy.
What's a bad famous person's name? I
A
totally
bad
wrote Michael
famous-
Jackson.
That's a different dude.
Yeah.
That is not the king of pop.
Michael Jackson was the king of polka.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another name that starts with C.
Courtney.
Courtney. Okay.
Go hand in hand, you know.
That's
Okay. Corey and Courtney. All right. A large moving object.
Orca.
An orca?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she's not wrong.
A fruit.
passion.
Passion fruit.
So
That's good.
Okay. All right. A number.
25.
25. Another number.
26.
6. Another thing.
Vacuum.
Vacuum. Okay. Vacuum. Where'd you get that prompt?
I have no idea.
A small object.
Tweezers.
Tweezers. Okay. Okay. All right. So at the end of the show, we're gonna fill in these blanks in all of our little scripts, and then we'll play our scene.
Okay.
Play
Okay.
the scene.
So let's talk about the space, guys.
Fantastic.
So what's the space?
Yeah.
The Space is a sketch comedy venue. It's ultimately, and it's in its finished form, it's going to be a building where you come and you enjoy yourself. You have some drinks. You bring your friends with you, and you sit down and you watch some sketch comedy and you laugh your ass off. All of the sketch comedy is going to be written and performed by the guys that are the cast that do the performance. So it'll be 100% by Oklahomans for Oklahomans.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's nice. And how'd you guys come up with the name?
I
actually don't know this.
yeah I've had this thought for a while about wanting to start this kind of theater, and so for a while I've been toying with names, so I'll take you through just the one name that I was like, I really think this might be good, is the Gravy Spot. I really enjoyed the Gravy Spot because everything that goes on there is gravy, as in it's really good.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I was thinking it. But also in my head, I was like, well, you know what we could do? We could call it the Gravy Spot, but then we could also call it the G Spot because it might be hard to find, but when
Yeah.
you do it, it's euphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be tough in
that's-
conversation, though.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
guys want to go to the
Yeah,
G spot?
You guys been to the G spot?
Right, which is
Pardon?
I've
yeah,
never
that's
been
wh- that's
before,
why
yeah.
we backed up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't.
You should
find
try
it.
the G spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Really great.
They would be like a haven for passive aggressive girlfriends.
Yeah.
For a date
Yeah.
night.
Oh, the
Like,
G
this
spot?
one
Yeah.
would be
right
fine.
here.
Yeah.
Google
It's
Maps will show you how to
hilarious.
get to this one.
So that name went away pretty quickly. Even though I liked the feeling of it, it kind of evoked this
Who doesn't?
this thing of, oh, that could be fun. But what it did bring me to is the idea that I really wanted a place where everyone could play, and it's not just sketch comics. It should be stand-up comedians as well, and people who deal with sound, the art that you. I'm serious. Like you're an artist, and the way that I'm looking at this space is everybody who does something artistic should be able to have a space to play in.
That's really cool.
One of the things that I keep thinking about is when we get the bar actually assembled, there are some guys who blow glass in Edmond, and they're great. They just have this on display where they're blowing glass. Have you ever seen them?
I have not. That sounds amazing.
I think I've
Yeah.
actually heard it. It's like kind of on that main strip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. And I keep thinking, wouldn't it be great if I could pair up with one of those guys and go, look, wouldn't you like to create a glass, your own piece of art that you could blow for us, and we could say, hey, yeah, that is mildly suggestive.
I just still have G-spot in my head.
So many
Ignore me.
double entendres happening today.
There are. Maybe I should make it clear I'm not speaking of any kind of sexual
if
activity.
you come to the G-spot, you can blow glass.
I did this to
Our
myself.
thing is becoming really clear in the alternate universe where we opened the G-spot.
This is where I've destroyed everything yet again.
Welcome to the first
Mostly-
run of the G-spot.
Oh,
We'd
great.
be mostly explaining that we're not a strip club.
Yeah, we're
Lots
not
of
what you think we
disappointing
are.
Yeah. All those red halogen lights
You said
are really
everyone could
deceiving.
play, so
I-
I guess we aren't not a strip club.
Yeah, I mean, the strippers are artists too. I don't want to exclude anyone. We're diverging hugely. So, the concept was that I was thinking about is getting these hand created pieces of art in the space as well, so that all artists would have a space to play in, and that's where the space came from, is that it's a space for everyone.
That's awesome.
That is great. I love
I had a
that.
really hard time with that story, guys.
We got through it. We
There were some
powerhoused
trips.
through that
I'm
one.
proud of
Thanks,
you.
dude.
Breaking through barriers.
Thanks.
So where is the space?
Right now, we don't have a home.
Ah,
This show that's starting on the 24th and 25th of August is going to be a fundraiser type deal. Here's a preview of what you can see, and we can do this without a permanent home.
okay.
And we can take this wherever we want to go. Ultimately, we want to have our own theater. And wouldn't you like to see a theater in Oklahoma of this caliber written for you?
Yeah.
If so,
Absolutely.
give us money and help us find
Yeah.
a space.
I mean,
Exactly.
Here in Oklahoma, there really aren't a whole lot of like comedy clubs or like the only one that I know of is a Looney Bin, and that's like
That's
on
pretty much it.
a large
That's
scale.
actually a comedy
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
So
Like Speakeasy is very supportive of comedy and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Looney Bin's the only comedy club.
And sketch is such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing between actual theater and stand-up.
yeah.
yeah.
So you need to have the vibe of a stand-up club where everybody's coming to have a party,
Yeah.
and you need to have the technical aspects of a theater
Yeah.
so that your actors can go off stage and close doors and
Yeah.
come in and make a set out of nothing at all and then leave and have it
Yeah.
transform into something else. So it's a weird beast that we're dealing with, but it's so much fun and it's so fulfilling when you actually can get there and do that thing.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been working on the idea of the space?
Well, I worked for the Second City, which is an improv-based comedy theater that started in Chicago in 1959, and I primarily worked out of the Detroit theater, and I worked there for 10 years, and it was an amazing job. I had a fantastic time doing that, and I didn't really plan on setting down my roots in Oklahoma. I kind of came back to Oklahoma sort of as a pit stop on my way to LA. I was going to keep
Nice.
going as I moved out there. And on my very first day back in Oklahoma, I got an email from my high school girlfriend that I was supposed to marry 17 years prior, and for life reasons, we hadn't spoken to each other in 17 years. So I get back to Oklahoma, and there's this email about, hey, why did you break my heart 17 years ago? And,
Oh,
why did
man.
you break my heart 17 years ago? Where are you? What's going on? Pretty immediately, it was clear that I wasn't going to be going to LA.
Right.
I was going to be staying here with that lady, because a year after we got married.
Oh, wow.
So that's
awesome.
that's the end of that story. That's not the end of that story, but
And then he killed her.
There are honestly, like, if you ever get the chance to hear the full story, there are like 17 plot points that are also in the Notebook. It's an
Yeah.
amazing story.
That's awesome. It was raining. They couldn't decide on a restaurant.
Literally all-
we love to hang out in the rain too. So so here I am in Oklahoma, where I hadn't planned on being, and I was like, well, I got to do something. My career is indefinitely on hold, and I can't really let that happen. So let's just make a second city here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got 10 years worth of experience and behind the scenes knowledge, so surely I can do something with it.
Yeah.
And what I found out really quickly is I can do everything inside the theater that you want me to do, but building a business, I've got no clue,
Yeah.
none.
Your marketing.
Yeah.
I'm
That's the
like,
hard part, man. That's the
Oh.
part that you always overlook. I feel like whenever you're trying to start something like that.
Oh yeah. So to answer your question now, about 8 years, I think, maybe 10 years had gone by before I found somebody and I was going, hey, I've got this idea for the space. And then LaRonn looks at me and goes, yeah, that's great. What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
I'll be in it when you get it up and running, but I don't know how to make a business, you know? And so I go to everybody. I'm like, hey, who wants to help me? Who wants to? And nobody does. Until I found Matt Roberts, who is a partner, and he's also in the cast. We should, not yet. No, let's go ahead. I want to
Cut to Matt Roberts.
Matt Roberts and Norma Lilia Ruiz Cruz and
I love it so much.
and Anne Lizette Cavney are all part of the ensemble that we've created. And it's really important that we give them a shout out because without them, none of this would be happening right now too.
Yeah.
So that's important. Going back to the story, I started telling Matt Roberts about my idea for the space, and he kept going, oh, well, have you thought about doing this thing? And I go, no, I hadn't really thought about doing that thing. That's a good idea, Matt, thanks. And for a while, we just kind of sit around having beers, and he'd go, have you thought about this thing over here maybe that you could do? Well, Matt, no, I didn't, but thanks. Until eventually I just like, hey, you want to do this with me? And he was like, I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when he came on board, it felt like things really started to take off, and both of us felt very comfortable, Matt in the business role and me in the artistic role, and so none of our wires got crossed, and we worked super well together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so at that point, the genesis had been 10 years prior,
Yeah.
but when Matt got on board, which was, I don't know, 6 months ago, I guess, things really started to pick up.
Roll down the hill.
Yeah.
And now, I know you guys had the audition process happen probably 3 months ago? Was it?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so.
I was originally wanting to be in there.
I
but-
wanted to see you audition.
That's the problem with freelance, man. I got no time.
Yeah.
I got no time. Someday, whenever I settle down and get a 9 to 5 or something like that, and I, crank out 3 kids like Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. So are you guys mainly, how many cast members do you have altogether?
We have 6 total cast members right now.
6 total cast members.
And then we've got a production team of 2 members made up of Tiffany Roberts and Monica Owen, and they're going to do some amazing things for us as well. And that's kind of the total package right now.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing, yeah.
So right now you're kind of almost like a touring group then.
Almost, yeah.
So does the group have a specific name, or is it just the space?
It's just the space.
Okay.
So the building itself, the theater itself is the space, and the people who make up that space are the space.
That's awesome.
And when you guys decide to come and be a part of the space, you too will be the space.
We'll be the space.
Yeah.
We are
Nice.
Groot. We are the space.
Yeah.
So I want to touch a little bit on sketch comedy specifically compared to, we focused on improv a lot here. We've talked to stand-up comics, but we've never touched on sketch comedy, which is funny because we like to shoot sketch comedy.
Yeah, we shoot a lot of sketch comedy.
But we've never talked to people who do actual live theater sketch comedy. So what's the biggest difference for the layperson? Just assume we don't know anything. Like, what's the biggest difference between sketch comedy and improv and stand-up?
Okay. Well, the sketch comedy is a scripted piece of material that comes from anywhere you want it to come from, but it is a script and it's funny. That's your sketch. Whereas stand-up is one person scripting material, typically scripting material, and that's funny also. So the difference between stand-up and sketch is you've got more people doing it at one time.
Yeah.
Versus improvisation where you have no script. So the differences are pretty big when you just take a breakdown and look at it like that. One's got no script, 2 do have scripts, 1 has 1 person, and sketch has lots of people.
That's awesome. So what's the writing process like whenever you're creating? Because you're not just writing one sketch. You're creating a show. How long is the show?
It's going to be about an hour.
Okay.
If I can get the show down there. We've got so much good material right now. I sent out a running order to these guys yesterday about, all right, here's the show. And as I was thinking about it yesterday and today, I'm like, this is way too long. We've got so much good stuff. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so it's...
If you ever wanted to shoot any of those unproduced scripts, I know a guy.
We should talk.
Yeah, we should.
We should talk.
We should.
Yeah. So the process for us, and it can be different for anybody. Every sketch group really needs to find its own way to write. Some people love to have writers' rooms and sit down and just write and sort of bounce ideas off of each other. That's how Saturday Night Live works for the most part. They've got a writers' room and they kind of throw stuff out at each other. But even there, they also have individual writers for individual performers. So when you're going to go up and do something on Weekend Update, I'm going to sit back and go, well, Brian has this voice that he has obviously honed, and so I'm going to write it in his voice and make it for him.
Yeah.
Our particular style is that we start from improvisation, which really starts from the individual performers, and that's something different that you can't get anywhere else. And I think I'm accurate in saying that, because no matter what LaRonn does, he's going to do the Space sketch comedy with the Space. And that started with him, and he created it, and he's now on stage with the rest of us who helped him build this stuff. And so that's how it's going with all of us.
Nice.
We sit there, we improvise, and then afterwards we say, that worked, that didn't work, that line was good, that concept was good, that was a good location to have something, things that just jumped out. Because improvisation is really hit and miss. You know?
Yeah.
They can't all be home runs.
Yeah.
With sketch, you get to take the home runs that you got when you improvise, and you get to pull them away and say, this can all be home runs.
Yeah.
So it's a much easier product to market than pure improvisation.
That's really, and it's almost like a machine when you do it that way. It seems like. So like, did you guys start off like with improv shows, or just improvising within the group itself and seeing what works within this group?
Well, these guys improvised before they got to the Space. So, like, what was your experience with improv, LaRonn?
I took a few classes here and there in Norman at the Actor Factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I did like some sketch comedy improv shows with Michelle DeLong at the Actors Academy. So yeah, that's where I mainly got mine from.
Two strong forces, the
Yeah.
Actor Factory and Michelle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as far as acting goes.
Yeah. And what was your experience, Gabby?
I just started taking classes. I actually got into improv because of Lizette Cavaney, who also happens to be a member of the Space, which is just cool tie-in to my origins. But I started taking classes, and then I joined some troupes. So all of my performing experience is improv. I've never done anything outside of that. So this is my first experience with sketch and like having an actual writing process instead of just making stuff up. So it's been really fun and exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so we took all these guys at different levels and put them all together and said, all right, let's just play.
Yeah,
let's see what comes up.
See what we can get.
Yeah. And then from there, we have a director, which is also myself. And so I'm directing them into different areas. Like LaRonn will bring up a character and I'll go, let's use that character. I don't know how we're going to use that character, but let's use that character. Gabby writes a sketch, and she sits at home alone and writes a sketch, I'm assuming, and then says, here, read it. So I read it and I go, yes, this line works, this line doesn't. Let's figure out how we can make more home runs out of that. And we take the best creative parts of each individual player and aim for that every single time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to just be a fly on the wall in that little writing process.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part is the writing process.
Oh, I know.
It's super groovy.
Yeah.
And the first rehearsal that we had, it was just, what did we do? We ate food, we sat around, we talked, did we play any games?
I think that might have been second rehearsal that we actually
because we
played a
sat
game.
around, talked, and met each other.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really just like a party almost. You know, a low-key party, like nobody's getting tanked or anything. But.
I want to see that writing session where everyone's just hammered. Like, I think we wrote like 5 sketches last night, but I can't remember.
I can't remember. All I remember
just remember
is
they were gold.
Yeah.
And then somewhere is the actual recording, and you're just listening to it, you're like, oh my god. This will never see the light of day.
Yeah.
There was a group of us at one point in Detroit. We were, we had gotten up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're rehearsing all the way until 5, and then you get a dinner break for an hour, and then you do 2 shows, and so around midnight you're off work technically.
Yeah.
And that's when the 3 of us sat around, and we were like, wait, we've got more ideas for the show. and let's go ahead and come up with these ideas. And we all had the sleepy sillies. We were all just giddy. Like, it was stupid. And I was sitting at the computer with these other guys going, oh, wait, and there should be a blue lobster in there. A blue lobster is what we need. Yes, Sean, that's amazing. Oh my God, a blue lobster. Wait until the cast hears this. Oh. And all of us were just cracking up. And then we go into rehearsal the next day after we've had 2 hours of sleep, and we go, guys, listen, we have the best stuff. So this blue lobster walks in. None of this is funny anymore.
Wait a second.
This was hysterical last night. Who changed this?
Yeah.
Things by drunk people also need to be consumed by drunk people. As long as they're both at equal levels of sobriety,
Yeah.
can function.
And we were sober. We were totally sober. It was just sleep debt that we were going through. You know,
There you go.
That counts as drunk to me.
Yeah,
They're equal
yeah.
levels of hysteria.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were not in our right minds.
So, like, whenever you're performing, what rules of improv do you end up falling back on? Like, how does improv play into the actual show? Like, now that you've written everything out and, the curtains go up if there are curtains, the lights come up, and now it's time for the show, where does improv come back into play?
The most fundamental aspect of improvisation is to accept the given circumstances and build off of what those given circumstances are. A lot of times that gets shortened down to yes and, because that's the phrase that you want people to say. Something comes up, we've got a table here, yes, and we've got an amazing script on top of it, yes, and that script needs to have some words put into it beforehand.
Yes.
So
and
yeah, exactly.
and it's on fire.
Exactly. Yes, and let's run.
Yeah.
So you need to be in a place where you're accepting everything that comes at you, and that never leaves. There's going to be a sketch that we ultimately do. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in there, where we're going to play with the audience.
Nice.
And so whatever they give, we never know what they're going to give us. And especially this show, we haven't had the benefit of a test audience or anything like that. We don't have previews, so opening night, it's going to be a new experience for all of us.
Yeah.
It either works or it works.
Do you
Those are
take
both of our
audience
options.
suggestions for this at all, or?
We will, but it's not going to be in a typical way that you might have seen when you go to an improv show. Like, hey, give us your favorite candy.
Yeah, exactly. Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. The improvisation that we're doing in the show is going to be more of a conversational style type thing, where we will suggest what you are as a character, and then whatever you throw at us is what we're going to deal with. And we've got some ideas about how you might respond, but
You never know.
You never know. And that's the beauty of it. You have to accept it, and then you have to build off of it, which is why the only thing that I've done in this process is pick really good performers who know that, and they can get there really easily and really quickly.
That's awesome.
That never
So
goes
is this like a weekly thing, or is it a show that has a runtime, or is it just going to go on and on and on, or what's your plan with it?
Ultimately, I would like it to be a show that continues for as long as we're selling tickets.
Nice.
So if we could have an indefinite run, we of course we would love to build the best show.
Yeah.
And if we hit that best show where everybody's like, I got to come back and see this, then let's just keep working it. Let's keep working that show. But for this particular show, we've rented a space, so we only have 2 nights.
Yeah.
And so that's what we've got right now. And if we took it on the road, obviously we would have that one performance night.
Mm-hmm.
So until we have our home base,
Yeah.
we're kind of at the discretion of who will give us a space.
Right.
Which is why we want to get a space really quickly.
So if you have a space for the space,
exactly.
give us a call at 1-800-999-99999.
A lot of 9s.
9.
Do it now.
Yeah. So, what are some tips for like the young enthusiast who watches SNL every Saturday and watches the whole backlog on Hulu and everything? Like, what are some special tips that you can give the young person that want to get into something like this? whether it be sketch comedy or just comedy in general.
Oh man, do you guys have any thoughts about that?
Listen, this advice is for me.
Don't suck.
Yeah. She's like, this is advice for me, man.
Yeah,
do you have any
she's
thoughts
she's a young 18.
Keep going. I don't know.
Yeah,
True. I barely qualified for the contract for this. I turned 18, and Peter's like, "You're at least 18, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Waiting for that birthday, and then it came, and Topher was like, "Here you go, sign this."
Yeah. I signed it with a pink gel pen. So
very 17.
And you're a
Very, I
trapper
know.
keeper for some
I'm
reason.
done with that life. I'm all ballpoints now.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everybody's journey is different, and I know that's not the answer you're looking for. It's just tough.
Wrong.
Yeah. It's hard to go ahead and quantify what somebody would have to do to get there. But I think, LaRonn, you said it. Don't give up. If it's something that you want to do, then investigate how you can do it. My journey was that as a wee tyke, I watched Saturday Night Live and I said, that's where I belong. I feel home there. And then I started asking around, hey, how do you get on Saturday Night Live? Who can put me on Saturday Night Live? Oh, well, you really got to go to Second City. Done. That's where I got to go then.
Yep.
And life didn't lead me to Second City, but I found myself in a place where Second City was, and I went, oh, got to do this now. So, and I went to New York as an actor, and I wasn't worried about Saturday Night Live at that. Well, no, I was. I was still going there and stalking the elevators, the golden elevators that they got.
Are you ever not worried about Saturday Night Live whenever you're in New York for comedy?
I don't think you
Does
can
it ever
be.
leave the zeitgeist?
I don't think it can.
I don't think so either. I'm in Oklahoma and it can't leave the zeitgeist here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
How many seasons, and this may be a bad topic. It's not. How many seasons do you continue to watch it and you go to your friends the next day and go, Saturday Night Live sucked last night, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, but
Yeah.
we're still going to watch it.
Yeah.
Right?
I should be on that show.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes.
Something
That
epic to happen.
sucked, didn't it? God, the cast is awful. I'd be great on that show.
We could be so much better. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you get an amazing cast together on Saturday Night Live, and those kinds of talks suddenly go away.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
They're making me laugh every single weekend. And that's, I think you're right, that it never goes out of style. Saturday Night Live, no matter how bad it gets, it's always got goodness in it enough to keep you coming back for more.
Yep. They always catch lightning in a bottle in at least one sketch per episode.
Yeah.
It always brings people back. Well, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say, so like, as far as like talking about stuff that doesn't work, and like, oh man, this wasn't so good. I didn't like this, and this was really great. How do you guys deal with having stuff that you've worked on all this time to really develop, and then you go and perform it, and then it doesn't work? Like to bomb.
A bomb.
Right.
Yeah. So like,
They're
what are your guys' like, I guess, methods for regrouping and trying to get back to where you can make quality stuff?
Yeah, and where can we also get that alcohol sponsorship?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think you're onto something, Brian. But so far, none of us have bombed because none of us have performed yet.
Knock on wood.
But at
So
some
that's
point
the
we
secret.
will. And here's part of what goes along with being in a sketch comedy troupe rather than doing stand-up. Stand-up, you're alone, but in sketch comedy, you have other people. And what that means is that if you're a successful sketch comedy group, you've created an ensemble. You've created a team of people, and you know that they have your back, and they know that you have their back. And so how do you get over those bombing moments? You go out there, you bomb, and then you come backstage to your team and go, fuck, that sucked. And they go, yeah, it did. And then you go, let's go get pizza.
Right.
And that's how you get over it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because
Camaraderie.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you do comedy at all, there's gonna be a time when every audience member has just come back from a funeral, everybody is sad as hell, people are grumpy, people on Friday nights, they've just worked a full week and they really want that weekend to start, but they're pissed that they have to pay taxes and they went through the traffic and what? I'm just gonna start right now Go ahead, make me laugh. And that's what you're dealing with in the audience on Friday nights. Like, I'd love to make you laugh, pal, but you're not in the right place right now. Maybe I could give you a massage before we start or something. Aromatherapy maybe would help. But all I have is some silly characters here. No, make me laugh. All right.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah. and it's going to happen. And you come back to these guys and you go, it's tough out there tonight. Let's just get through it. Let's get through it, and then we'll have some beers. And then you go on and you do that, and you keep walking.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the part of it that's kind of spooky, is because this whole process has been us in a box, like bouncing off of each other. Like, we haven't had test audiences or anything, so we have like these things that we think are hilarious, and then we really have no idea how it's actually going to play. We just have to trust each other and ourselves in that. So that's the part that freaks us out.
Let's do
but
an
is also
exercise,
exciting.
shall we? Let's pretend that we're 3 months in the future, and the shows have been going great.
Yeah.
And let's see that you guys just came off the stage. Let's see the reaction after all the applause and everything. What's it look like?
You guys did great out there. That was amazing. It's 3 months in the future, so you're still not able to have a drink with me, but we should go somewhere where I can drink and we can talk about whatever we got to talk about.
I'll bring a Capri Sun.
Cool?
Chuck E. Cheese.
All right.
Chuck E. Cheese.
I dig it.
And scene.
Yeah.
That was great.
great.
Well, you guys y'all wanna play this little Mad Lib game?
Heck yeah.
Let's do this.
Mad
Okay, so
Libbing.
everybody's got a pen
Yes,
here.
and I would like to be handed a script.
And let's see.
Here,
I'll
have
give you
that.
this one.
Thank you.
Start filling this
All
one
right.
out.
Everybody got one?
One more.
Okay, here's one more.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is a food that comes in a can, Spam.
And we're writing that in number 1?
Yep.
Okay. And finding it all the places?
Yep. All right. Number 2, a thing, Lint. All right. Number 3, a name that starts with C, Corey.
With an I or a Y?
With the Y.
Okay,
With an EE.
that's upsetting.
And a silent T.
True Lord.
Number 4, Marvelous. Okay. Number 5, Ronjeet. Spell it how it sounds.
With an EE.
And a silent S. And number 6, Michael Jackson. Not Jackson, Jackson. Number 7, a name that starts with C, Courtney. Number 8, a large moving object, an orca. Okay, number 9, a fruit, passion fruit. Number 10, the number 25. Number 11, number 26. Sounds like a warped bingo game. Number 12, a vacuum. And number 13, tweezers. Okay. Let's see what we get here. We'll just pretend we have some kind of cool Mad Lib theme song.
I spelled the word vacuum differently on both of the options.
I think that's an amazing choice, Gabby.
Everybody
you.
got it?
Feel supported.
Okay.
I think so. Let me see. Let me make sure my.
I will read.
I won't let pen go down. Got it.
And I'll read the narration, which isn't much. But okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Mad Libs. This is Bonnie and Clyde.
I'm Detective 2.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So we got Gabby, you're playing Detective 1. Neil, you're Detective 2.
Got
LaRonn,
it.
you're playing Henry. And then Topher, you're playing Psychic.
Got it.
In 3, 2, 1. A couple of 1930s detectives are in a room with a table with a nicely dressed criminal. There's also an oddly dressed woman in the room that is a psychic.
All right, you. I'm gonna give you one more chance to spill the spam, or we're gonna toss you in the slammer and throw away the lint.
Easy there, Detective. Henry here is ready to tell us all about Bonnie and Corey.
Clyde.
See? He's very marvelous.
And what are you gonna do if I don't spill the spam?
Then this psychic here, Madame Ronjeet, is gonna read your mind.
So what do you want to know?
What was Clyde's real name? I have a series of aliases: Roy, Bailey, Jack Hale, Elvin Williams, and Michael Jackson.
His real name was Clyde Barrow.
What was his middle name?
I don't know.
He liked to go by Courtney, but it was actually Chestnut.
Hey, I think that's right. Maybe you should ask her all the questions.
Don't get smart with me.
So what was Clyde like as a kid?
He stole Orca and took them for joyrides.
So what was Clyde's first name?
He and Bonnie robbed a bank in Passion Fruit, Missouri, and they got away with $115.
That's it?
The bank don't have much money anymore. It's the Great Depression, remember?
True.
We know he was a bank robber. He didn't also take hostages and torture them.
Well, there was this one time he kidnapped a cop and made him steal a car battery and install it before we let him go.
He also killed 25 people.
I don't know if it was that many.
It was more like 26.
Look, I told you everything I know. I helped you find him. When I free to go?
Well, you've been cleared of all your charges in Texas, but you're still wanted in Oklahoma for stealing vacuum.
What? How long do I have to be in jail for stealing a vacuum?
12 years. And then when you get out, you'll be hit by a train.
Wait, what?
Get him out of here.
Detective 2 removes Henry.
So how many people did you arrest for helping Bonnie and Clyde?
23.
23, are you sure?
Yes, why?
Did you know Bonnie was 23 when they were killed? And they were killed on May 23rd.
You're right.
Of course I'm right. I'm out 167 bullets fired. What? Wait, of course I'm right. And out of 167 bullets fired, 50 hit Bonnie and Clyde. 23 of those just hit Bonnie.
Now, I don't know about that.
And she had 23 tweezer in her purse.
Get her out of here.
Detective 2 comes in and drags out the psychic.
Where'd my shoe?
Dang, now she has me curious. Gonna have to go look in her purse.
And scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a 23 tweezer.
I was going with vacuum as a cumulative noun.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
You know, it's like cactus or
Cacti.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
one of those
cacti.
weird words.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can we find information about the space?
About the space right now, you can go on Facebook and find us at the Space OK. And we also do have Twitter that's happening, right? And that's also the Space OK.
Also the Space OK.
And Instagram, which is also the Space OK.
Nice.
Yeah.
So at the Space OK, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Gabby, Topher, and LaRonn. Topher? Did I just call you Topher?
I thought it was adorable.
That's your new
I thought
name.
it was on purpose.
My mom calls me Topher, so it sounds perfect in my head.
Gabby, Topher, Laurie, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, it's been really fun. It's been great.
Well, you guys have been awesome. And of course, you can follow the Okie Show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Check us out at okieshowshow.com. Look at some of our sketches at okieshowshow.com/sketches. You can see some of the YouTube things that we've done. And if you like what you see and you'd like to see some more, maybe be involved yourself, go to patreon.com/okieshowshow. And we'll see you guys in the next 2 weeks. Thanks again.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okie Show.